Welcome to Back Talk on CBTV. I'm Johnny Manasarides. This is John, Jimmy, and Jake. Today we will be talking about the Heat in general and how this team is going to work out in the NBA. John, what are your opinions?
Well, in my opinion, there's two ways. There's no middle ground for the Heat. The Heat, either the 3 stars plus the other 2 people who are more important than is getting recognized right now. The point guard and their center. Well, Mike Miller, who's been talked about anyways. They're either going to work together as a team, win between 60 and 75 games, and go make a run at this championship, make a run one of being the best teams in there. Or it goes all the way together into the spectrum. LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, they don't learn to work together. They're selfish. They don't share the ball with each other. Maybe they win. They're great scorers, so they'll make it to the playoffs. But in the playoffs, they just won't be a team enough, and they'll go down, and the whole thing will have to be rethought over. And remember, next year's free agent class, it's got almost all of the best guards, plus Carmelo Anthony in the entire league. So I feel the Heat either complete success or a complete failure. It's the first real super team in the NBA.
Jimmy?
I look at it a little bit differently. I like your thoughts and your concepts on it, but the bottom line factor is you said 60 to 75 wins. 75 wins in the NBA would be, number one, would be a record. 72-10 is the top record. That was Michael Jordan's team. To win 75 games in this league, in an 82-game schedule, a lot of things are going to have to go right. You're going to have luck through the ceiling. 2, the injury factor. Dwayne Wade has a knee that's troublesome. Chris Bosh has a knee troublesome. It's only going to wear down as the season goes on. LeBron James may have to carry a bigger load as the season goes on. And you mentioned the 2 other players. Mike Miller is not a point guard. Mike Miller's a shooting guard. So that's Dwayne Wade's position. Mike can't play the small forward spot because that spot is reserved for LeBron James. The power forward's probably going to be Udonis Haslem. He can't play center because Chris Bosh will alternate between center and power forward. So it's a mishmash of what you're going to do. They don't even have a point guard. And in this game, you're not going to win without a point guard. Now, Dwayne Wade will assume the duties of playing the point. But Dwayne Wade is a scorer who has a scorer's mentality. He's going to have to defer a lot of what he does to LeBron James, to Chris Bosh. He'll have to be a facilitator. LeBron James is going to have to be the biggest person who makes the biggest sacrifice. Averaged 25 points a game last year. Average may have to drop down to about 18, 19 a game. He's going to have to go to 6 to 7 to 8 shots to someone else. Udonis Haslem is about a 10-point to 14-point scorer with 10 rebounds, and he plays solid defense. He's one of the key players in this whole scenario. If they're going to win, he's going to be huge because he can hit a little spot-up jump shot. He can do a lot of different things, but there's still holes. They're trying to plug holes. Who's going to play the backup point position? Who's going to play the backup center position? Who's going to be their starting center? They just picked up Zdrunas Ilgauskas. But he's not the guy that you're going to win a championship with. Is he good enough to surround these guys with? Possibly. Don't know. There's still a lot of question marks is what I'm saying. And to say they're going to win 60 to 75 games, they may not even win 60 games, depending on what's going to happen, because they are every other team's game every night now. Everybody's looking at them. Every time they come to our place, when we're playing the Cleveland Cavaliers, we're ready to play. We're up to beat those guys. Even your Oklahoma Cities. And what do you think it's going to be like when he goes back to Cleveland? You think they're not going to want to win that game? All the teams are geared now for these 3 stars. 3 stars are 3 stars. You need 5 people on the court. You need a rotation of 8 to 9 guys in the NBA that play every single night consistently. And my feeling is going to be, it's going to take 41 games for these 3 guys to gel. It takes a half a season because as much as they may know each other, they'll win some games because they have more talent. But when they start playing teams like, even, I'll put it in their conference, Orlando, you think Orlando's not going to be fired up to play these guys? And they don't have anybody who can play Dwight Howard. The Celtics, who have defended both LeBron James and Dwayne Wade in last year. And even together, they'll seal off the floor, they'll double team in certain areas, they will take the ball out of these 2 guys' hands. The Celtics are going to give them fits. Orlando's going to give them fits. You got 2 teams right there, they're going to have to climb over to get where they think they want to go. It's not going to be that easy. It's just not. What do you think?
Well, I agree a lot with him. So I think they need to work as a team as well as any team can in the NBA. I think that if they work as a team, they can win about 60 games, maybe even more. But if they don't, then they just can't win games together as a team. And plus, they need a good bench. And that,
You gotta have a good bench.
I know.
See, this whole thing boils down to, I've seen this before. I've seen a team with 3 stars. The Celtics when they got the big 3 or whatever. Bird, Parrish, and McHale were the big 3. I mean, these 3 is, you couldn't even compare this 3 with those 3 guys. All 3 of those guys are in the Basketball Hall of Fame. Not near one of these guys are in the Basketball Hall of Fame. Not saying they won't get there, but you're talking about guys who are smaller, shorter, whatever. And I'm gonna tell you right now, the championship resides in Los Angeles. When they get through the East, they will probably have the Lakers standing there in the end, who have the best closer in the game. And they're bigger, they're gonna rebound better, and you're gonna look at the matchup. Who's gonna play Pau Gasol? Who's gonna play a healthy Andrew Bynum? Who's gonna play Kobe? And they're a unit that's together. And Ron Artest will defend LeBron. Kobe will defend Dwayne Wade. And regardless of what you're thinking, it'll be a wash. Whatever they get, they're going to get back. So I can see the Lakers getting real ticked off here in this kind of conversation that they've handed the NBA title to the Miami Heat already. Like, they're going to win. No, they're not. No, it's going to be a long road to get there. And if they win, you look at the looks on their faces in the post-game interviews, they'll be going, we did it. Because the pressure is going to be unbelievable on these guys.
Well, what I think is that right now, they're going to be picking up a really good bench because they have people like LeBron James, they have Chris Bosh, and they have Dwayne Wade.
Yep.
So who wouldn't want to play with these 3 guys? I mean, it doesn't matter that you're not getting paid a lot because when these people run through your mind, the first thing that pops into your head is a championship.
Yeah, we got a chance to win a championship. Agreed.
So they're going to be picking up good players for cheap. For example, Udonis Haslem. He's a solid player.
Solid player. But he was their property. He just stayed.
Yeah.
But he said for less money, too.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And the Dallas Mavericks gave him an offer, but he took the Heat's offer even though it was cheaper because he knew they were championship players and he thought, like everyone else, they were going to win a championship.
Who on that team besides Dwayne Wade and Udonis Haslem is wearing a championship ring now?
No one. That's going to be their downfall, though.
The Lakers have a starting unit right now that all have rings on their fingers.
At least 2.
Into this.
They all have at least 2.
No, 1. Look, Ron Artest, this is his first one he's ever won.
Correct.
Now they're coming back with back-to-back titles, and you honestly think they're going to sit back and hand this over to these guys? Say, look, Dwayne Wade, you guys just go ahead. They all played on the Olympic team together. They all know each other. They're all close. But they all fear Kobe. Because Kobe is that one final factor. If the game comes down to the end, who's going to take over for the Heat? Is it going to be LeBron? Is it going to be Dwayne Wade? Is it going to be Chris Bosh? No, it's going to be LeBron James or Wade, one of the 2. Kobe, we know where the ball's going. Now we got to find a way to stop it. And if Kobe keeps Gasol involved, keeps Bynum involved, the size factor alone is going to cause Miami all kinds of problems. I'm gonna tell you, I really could see them not getting past Orlando. I really could. I could see them not getting past Orlando, and I could definitely see them not getting past the Celtics because they got picked with Jermaine O'Neal, right? The Celtics are bigger than they are, and they will get back Perkins in the second half of the season. So they're gonna have a front line. If Rasheed Wallace does come back, they'll have Kevin Garnett. They have Jermaine O'Neal, who gets you 11 points and about 9 rebounds a game. It's about rebounding. They will have a big enough front line. They're going to beef up their front line to compete against the Lakers. They're not beefing up their front line to compete against Miami. They say they can beat Miami, even with these 3 guys. My thoughts, yours.
All right, so that's it for Back Talk on CBTV. I'm Johnny, this is John, Jimmy, and Jake.
The 4 J's.
The 4 J's, and we will see you next week.